What is up, Superior Nation? And my buddy, my co-host on today's show, Scott Mulvaney from Live the Fuel podcast. Scott, what is up, buddy?
Good day, and I guess happy holidays.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, happy holidays. How you been, man?
If I look back at my social media, busy. A friend of mine pointed out to me, he's like, do you ever know how busy you are? I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, you do share a lot.
Well, you do a lot of it. You know, you go on the bike rides and you go do the trail. What is it? Rehab stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of work, dude. I mean, a Saturday, that's what, 8 hours. I mean, you got to spend 8 hours out there doing that.
Yeah. Here, speaking of trail work, just had another tool arrive.
Oh my God. That is crazy. How long does it take you to like rehab a trail?
Depends on the damage, right? Yeah. I mean, obviously these are already established. The park that I'm putting under my foundation for support is already, it's been established for years as a mountain biking park, but it's not officially. Mm-hmm. So there's been just a couple of regular volunteers to take care of it. You know, they'll leaf blow in the fall. They'll try and get in there, help clear brush after a storm. I mean, I got connected because I'm a wizard with a chainsaw, and when big storm damage comes down, I roll in and wreck house with a couple buddies. So, mm-hmm. And then there's actual trail work, which is the hands-on stuff. Like that inside of that box is actually a Pulaski. That's actually the tool that I used to fight fire with. It's half axe, and the other half is got the end turned, and that's more of a digging end. You can strike into the earth and help pull earth. So yeah, if you're trying to, for example, if you're trying to bench cut a trail into a hillside so you can actually ride on it or even hike on it better. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that takes more work because you have to cut into the earth. And if you're hitting rock, if you're hitting roots, there's many levels of trail work.
How many trails have you guys rehabbed so far?
Well, we're always working on it. I mean, depending on the parks, and there's other groups working on other parks we ride at here in Pennsylvania as well. So, actually, my buddy, shout out to Brian Strausser. He's one of our. He is the first ever brand ambassador for Live the Fuel. He and I met over running chainsaws on those trails. So he was just there.
You guys were just randomly walking, running chainsaws and ran into each other.
It's funny. We try and remember now. It's been. I'm like, because he's one of these guys. First time ever on a podcast was on my show. He and I met. Yeah, I think I put a post out there that we're going to do some volunteer work at Jordan Creek, single track. And I'm not even sure if I had the Facebook page up yet, but somehow this guy saw the post, and he's a volunteer nutball like I am, mountain biking nutball like I am, and likes to swing tools and chainsaws.
I see he follows you on like your rides, and he's there helping support you. I mean,
well, now he is. Yeah, I mean, now we follow each other. We've gone to we went to our first mountain bike race together this year. There's a budding bromance maybe there. I don't know.
That's awesome.
But no, that's it. We met over a common message, right? A big storm had rolled in, leveled like 30 trees in this park. There was so much blockage on the trails. It was driving me crazy, and the county wasn't going to take care of it. They said it would take them 3 months. I was like, give me 2 weekends. Yeah. And I put a call out there using social media for good. Next thing you know, we had like 10, 15 people willing to show up the next week. He was one of them. And then we went in there and wrecked house, opened all the trails back up, cut them open, raked them open, yada, yada, yada. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Volunteerism. I love it.
That's it.
Get done, man.
Yeah.
Saving tax dollars. Love it.
Yeah. And now I'm all buddies. We're all buddies with the local county guys who work on site there because anything is big and normally off trail that you have to get to from single track, they don't normally take care of that. They only get wherever they can drive with their pickup trucks or their UTVs, like more like a big 4-wheeler. Mm-hmm. That's it. If it's a 2-track access, they'll get to it. Single track, no bueno. So.
Jeez, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. I mean, that's awesome that you guys are passionate about it to where you'll go out and take care of it, right? Like to be into something that much and have that much passion about it and take care of it. I mean, that's what it's about.
And it's fun because me with my business brain and my marketing brain and all the different hats I wear, and then I've now turned it into an actual brand. It's now Jordan Creek Single Tracks, officially the brand of the park, whether people agree with me or not. I'm like, well, when you put in sweat equity, you can come talk to me. But I tell that for everybody in life, business, whatever, sweat equity,
Yeah,
above all else.
Then you get a vote. Put in some sweat equity.
Then my ears open.
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, awesome. I mean, I just thanks to my foundation. I mean, I helped found it and start it, and I went ahead and ordered custom decals. But actually, I didn't even have the foundation pay for yet. I paid for that in my pockets. We have our own JCS custom logo. I paid for a designer to do that. So for 2020, I'm going to be launching hats and shirts for some swag, and all the proceeds from those sales will go to the foundation to help support beyond what I can do. Right. Yeah. That's why I'm building all this. I'm trying to build a legacy. Like, dude, I can't do everything myself. Brian can't do everything himself. My other big volunteer, Christian, shout out to him as well. So yeah, dude, you got to build stuff. It takes time.
Absolutely. Yeah. But the reason why I wanted to get together was because a lot of people at work have been, not necessarily at work, but around the community have come to me and started talking about this documentary, right? Like Game Changers. And I know that you had put one out called Fat, the documentary.
Yeah. And remember, I'm not the creator. I was just on the team.
Yeah.
The founder is Vinny Tortorich. So,
I mean, you helped put it out. So,
I helped crowdfund it.
But you have some skin in the game for that.
I mean, I was doing all the social media posting and the marketing, driving traffic to the Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign because we raised over $200,000, and that's why Vinny and I started working together because he knew nothing about crowdfunding, and I told him you could totally pull this off, and we did. So
that's amazing. Yeah. But you have your diet. Like me personally, coming in, like my idea of healthy is not going to McDonald's or going to the fast food joints or whatever. Like I have an idea what healthy is, but like since Game Changers has come out, like, and I started watching some documentaries, now I'm becoming more aware about what kind of diets are out there. And I wanted to speak to you about it. Cause like January 1, I definitely want to make a major change in my diet. Not that I'm eating terribly bad or anything like that, but I'm thinking about like the repercussions from like, the dairy, the beef, we look at, the farming system and what they're doing, the pigs, the pork, all that kind of different things. And I wanted to ask you some questions about your diet and then what you guys put out in the documentary compared to Game Changers, because like you have mentioned to me that the science in Game Changers is a little off.
It's not well backed up at all.
Well, what do you mean? Like, so go off of that. Like, what do you mean it's not backed up?
Show me a documented study, a legit study, like not this surface level, like, oh, well, I had 20 people, like clinical trial studies don't exist.
Like what parts in the documentary stood out to you?
Which one? Ours or theirs?
Game Changers. Game Changers.
And let's be fair. Their target audience was a little bit different, right? Like, so, and we'll mention the fat documentary. That was about the truth about healthy fats. We do go back 150 years of history. You watched it and talk about things like where veganism came from. So there's a lot of controversy on the Game Changers movie because there's a lot of money in the vegan movement.
Yeah.
Because much of veganism's diet is centered around vegetables, obviously fruit. And, I don't eat hardly any vegetables and I don't eat any fruit in over 2 years. A little sneak peek. And I'm 42 years old and everybody in my family is obese. I'm 6'4" and, right now at 190, 195. So,
well, what is your diet? What is your diet?
Oh, let's see. Last night I went for a haircut. Right next door is a great, legit Italian restaurant. Not this pizzeria crap, like legit.
I think I saw a picture of this.
And yeah, I put, what did I start up with? I had 6 fresh oysters on the half shell. On this, I put on Instagram, me, I'm sharing.
Oh, I already know what you had.
Oh yeah. While I was waiting, I was like, let me throw another 4 on there. It was a Scott night. It was like, what? The wife's home doing her thing with the girls. I'm gonna have a Scott night. And then I followed it up because I was in a mood for great seafood. And normally I'm Mr. Red Meat man. I'm a hardcore carnivore. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'll let me try some seafood. So, but all the different dishes, like one had risotto with it, and which is crap. And then one had like, I don't know, some kind of pureed vegetable crap. And this bartender knows me because I always sit at the bar and we always just talk about it. We were talking about Star Wars last night. It was hilarious. And he's like, dude, he's like, you're jonesing for seafood right now. I'm like, yeah. He's like, why don't we take the scallops entree, the salmon entree, And my favorite is the octopus tentacle because they roast it. It's amazing. And he's like, why don't we just put all three on a plate? And I'm like, dude, you're talking my language. Load it up. He's like, no sides. I'm like, you're damn right, no sides. And that was on Facebook and Instagram. You saw that. It's beautiful, right? Wonderful tentacle. And you notice how the skin is on the salmon. That's where the healthy fats are, people.
Great. It looked great.
Don't throw your skin out. Chicken skin, salmon skin. Stop it. That's where all the healthy fats are.
So for the guys that are just starting out with their diet right now, listening to this, that have no idea what a plant-based diet is compared to a keto diet, like, all right, so what if I'm starting out January 1 and I want to change things up, right? Like, and I want to pick, I don't know, a diet that works best for me, right? Like a 100% plant-based diet for me is hard because I feel like I'm always hungry. Like I eat something and it's like,
you're missing healthy fats.
Yeah.
And protein.
But let's say if, that doesn't work for me. I love meat, right? Like what type of diet would work best for me to try out at least?
Here's the deal. Let me start high level and then we'll go down.
Okay.
I know we only have so much time. Okay. I have, I said before we hit record today, we talked a lot about the N1 experiment, right? I do a lot of my own N1. What does that mean for the basic person out there? It means I test it on me, before I talk about it. I'll tell people what I'm doing, but I make sure I build this over time. I wasn't always a hardcore carnivore, keto, paleo, all the buzzwords. So at the highest level, let me at least clarify this. I can't stand the word diet. Thanks to years of misdirection, marketing, magazines, all stuff that I've used to follow, Men's Health, all that stuff, Women's Health, it has become a marketing tool. And it has a negative connotation psychologically because when I think of diet, I call it a negative 4-letter word, right? But it's become a short-term mindset. It's lifestyle. That's why that's in my brand. It's not diet. It's lifestyle. What we're going to learn, what we're going to teach, what we're going to experiment on our N1 experiment ourselves, right? The research we're going to do, it should be about a sustainable lifestyle for life. Not, I'm going to try this flash in the pan thing for like 3 months. And then I'm going to try this other flash in the pan thing for 3 months. Those are diets. Does that help?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, but I mean,
the psychology is important. That's why I wanted to clarify this. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to try a new diet by January 1st. All right off the bat, I have concerns. And I've coached people in health and fitness. I mean, if you remember me, I go back. I've been a USSA ski race coach for 11 years. I was a spinning instructor for 6 years. I've been a CFL1 CrossFit coach for the past 5 years. I was a wildland firefighter. I know that, like, dude, I've been around. I know health and fitness. I don't need a degree to tell me I don't understand health and fitness. I mean, come on.
Well, I think because of the documentary with Game Changers, it comes out because you got a lot of high profile athletes that are, they don't say I'm 100% plant-based, but they say that they've changed they keep saying that meat is bad. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
that's a short-term answer.
Yeah.
Because that's invalid.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
here's one of our biggest arguments. B12.
Yeah.
Right there. Vegetarianism, veganism. What is B12? There's only a few essential, keyword, essential vitamins, minerals we need in our diet. What does essential mean? Your body doesn't make it. So B12 is one of them. And their argument in that movie and even though they're claiming this is not a vegan propaganda movie, do the research, see who paid for it. B12 is not a vitamin derived from plants at all. It is produced by the bacteria in our own stomachs, but we can't reabsorb it because I've interviewed the gurus. And cow stomachs, for example, right? They have 4 stomachs. There's a lot going on in there. So where's a great source of B12? Red meat.
Well, like, I guess
not the dirt, which is one of their arguments, by the way. Eat dirty vegetables. I'm not kidding you. Google that.
My concern with the meat is how it's in the beef is how it's raised, right? Like if you have grass fed is, ultimately 100 times better than, the others, whatever. What's the other, like, I mean,
well, it's either grass or grain.
Grain. There you go.
And to help you understand this, I just had 200 pounds of beef load it into my freezer, because I now annually, like the way I was raised, I buy in a year. Not everybody does this. I buy in a year in advance on a shared cow. To be clear, the actual keyword here is steer. The term cow is actually referring to dairy animals. When you buy beef, it's usually a meat animal that's not a dairy animal, meaning providing milk. So most beef that you buy is from a steer. So that's few and far between, not a big deal.
What is that usually? What is that range?
So grew up on a farm.
What is that range? Like the price range on buying half like a steer?
Well, this guy he sustainably raises. He only raises what people leave $100 deposit. Like for example, he'll notify me in January and February, somewhere around that time frame this year coming up, that, hey Scott, it's time to put your deposit down again. I started biannually or like every other year, and now I just switched to annually. But it basically roughly averages across the whole thing about $4 a pound.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, granted, that's an average. So obviously, in there's filet mignon. I
thought it would be more, just because it's more demand for that type of meat, right? Like,
I think so.
I think that's going to be more pure, more lean.
Oh yeah, he's 95% grass fed. Most, and I just found another farm here locally. I might switch to, because apparently they're 100% pasture raised, 100% grass fed. Most farmers will do grain finishing at the end of the raising of the animals. When it's time to go to slaughter, they'll grain finish, because, and this is why I don't eat grains. Grains help marbleize the fat in the meat, right? You get that marbled fat, extra flavor. So think about grains in the human body too. And that's why this goes back to Vinny Tortorich. He owns a trademark, NSNG. He's the one who created Fat, a documentary, no sugar, no grains. But these are all that. Why do you think that's why farmers, when raising an animal sustainably or otherwise, will be feeding grain towards the end if they want to add, just a nice marbleization, because that's what happens. It gets processed and turned right into fat. So,
well, what about dairy? What's your thoughts on dairy? Like,
minimally processed.
Really? And
so I do eat dairy-based food, air quotes, right? But I don't drink milk. I don't. Granted, when I was a kid, dude, I was born on a dairy farm,
dude.
So, I was raised to drink milk. But now that I know too much, and I've done the interviews and spoken to the scientists, it makes perfect sense. I forget the one doctor, but he said, what, Scott? He's like, we're the only mammal on this planet that continues to drink milk after the age of 4. Now, there's different kinds of milk, right?
I mean, but
are you drinking raw milk?
But it's another it's not your human milk. It's a cow's milk. You know what I mean? It's like,
But here's the thing. Once you're past the age of 4, you've already developed your immune system's already been developed up. You've already established a baseline over the first 2 to 4 years of your life. The biologist told me, he's like, Scott, you just don't need it. And people are like, oh, what about I need vitamin D and calcium? Dude, you can get, to support the veggies, dude, you get calcium out of broccoli. I can get calcium out of eating meat. I can get, so basically, to answer your question on dairy, I do eat hard cheeses, not soft cheeses. The softer the cheese, the sweeter the cheese. Back to my whole no sugar thing. So I eat hard cheeses. Today, dude, I haven't even eaten yet, dude. We're recording at 5:42 p.m.
You've been eating all day?
Nope. I do intermittent fasting all the time. I haven't. Here's what I did. Now, today wasn't a true full fasted state. So I woke up, made my coffee for my client because their coffee's awesome. And then I said, you know what? Do I want to do a fatty coffee this early? No, I went with black because I wasn't hungry yet. Then I ran around, ran some errands. Then I had to go to a meeting. So I stopped at a Starbucks and I ordered, here's my trademark, a quad shot latte. That's 4 shots of espresso.
Jeez.
With heavy cream.
4
rich, healthy fats. So there's my other dairy components. I got cheese, hard cheeses, heavy cream, and grass-fed butter. One of the most popular brands, Kerrygold, gold-colored packaging, straight from pasture-raised cattle in Ireland. So there are my 3 sources of dairy.
And
they're all, as you can tell here, right? Cheese, fat, heavy cream, fat. There's a theme, right?
Well, I think people, like some of the documentaries say, they hear the word fat and they get scared. They're like, I can't eat
Correct.
that because it has fat in it, right? Like,
Right.
because we've been told that fat is why we're fat.
Yeah, and this is where whether you watch, I mean, obviously, a documentary explains all that. I wish Game Changers would have explained that better, because even in a vegan and a vegetarian, life, like, I don't eat fruit. I said that earlier, right? But let me clarify this. There's two pieces of fruit that I eat.
Mm-hmm.
They're fatty fruit: avocados and olives. They're healthy fats.
Mm-hmm.
So they're they're not a sugar bomb from Mother Nature. Like, if you look at the rest of the fruit, there's all kinds of different tiers of sugar, right? But that's basically, I tell people, like, guys, like, Mother Nature, like, think about that as her seasonal dessert. You're not supposed to be eating fruit every day.
Mm-hmm.
We were never designed to do that. So that's why, and this is a much bigger podcast, but this is what Vinny gets into too. It's like, dude, your liver doesn't know the difference. You can be eating sweet cheeses, which is sweet, so that's going to hit your liver and affect your hormones alignment. You can eat bananas and strawberries and your fruit smoothie. There, you're slamming your liver again with sugar. And there's even really sweet vegetables out there and stuff too. So people, you're doing all this stuff. It's just sugar, 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 sugar. People have no idea. Your liver was never designed to handle all that sugar. Mm-hmm. Your brain needs, like, I forget the number. It's like 2 grams, maybe 4 grams at the most of sugar in a whole 24-hour period. That's it.
So you basically have this meat. You're basically 90% meat, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. All right. You want to know standards? Oh, fuck yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. So here's the deal. I go to my local butcher and I have him pull out the slab of bacon out of the animal, and he can put it on the meat slicer, and he slices my bacon. So I know where that butcher got the meat. It's not been preserved and added nitrates and sugars and whatever else they want to use to preserve the meat in a plastic package on a store shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Very old school.
What do they feed the pigs or the hogs or whatever it is they're getting the bacon?
Here's the thing. Pigs are an amazing animal. I raised pigs when I was a kid. I had chickens. I had goats. I mean, yeah, I learned a lot when I was a kid from my dad. And pigs can pretty much eat just about anything. They're an amazing machine. That's why you see in horror movies, like, if you gave a pig enough chance, he probably would eat a human being. He had a dead body laying in the pen, and they had no other food.
Yeah, isn't that
horror movies?
Yeah. But what documentary was it? I'm mixing documentaries here where they had, like, North Carolina is like the pig capital of the world.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing. Now, down in the Carolinas, they got a bad rap because you got these. Here's the problem. It's factory level farming. So that's where I will support the passion behind veganism and the vegetarian movement or the pescatarian movement. A lot of people choose these lifestyles because they think they're helping whatever. Sorry, guys, at the biological level, we're omnivores, right? We seasonally, if you go back to the caveman times, biologically, you're trying to rewire thousands of years of genetic code. It's going to take thousands of years to do that. And then even then, I don't think we could survive just on vegetables. Sorry. Besides the B12 argument, which is one of the most basic fundamental arguments on this. But I don't know. I mean, let me pause here. Am I getting too techie? I'm trying to keep things light and easy. I don't want to get too crazy.
I think
lots of doctors and biologists can do that.
I understand you, right? Like, right. I understand what you're saying, and I wanted to kind of dumb it down. Not dumb it down, but I wanted it to
simplify.
Yeah, simplify it.
Yeah.
To a point where, like, most people listening right now or watching can say, you know what? Like, I'm gonna, I saw the documentary. Mm-hmm. But they don't look at the science like we do, right? Like, they don't compare. They don't do the research. Look at you
watch both movies.
Yeah.
Which movie really tries to hammer you harder on heartstrings, emotion, psychology?
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, their documentary has a lot of influential people, right?
Yeah, like, a lot of fluff.
Yeah. A lot of fluff, a lot of, hey, look at me kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then yours is a lot of
experts.
Well, a lot of literature's in there, a lot of science.
Yep. And almost everybody talking in that documentary is either a doctor, mm-hmm. a famous medical researcher, right? I mean, so we have well-known people. I mean, now, granted, we have, like, Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew is very famous. He was just posted photos. He was at the White House. So he's got a lot of influence thanks to his fame. But also, he is aligned with what we're teaching. So, so yes.
Well, he's like, for instance, right? So I listened to Joe Rogan. He had a big follow podcast, and
wait, the first one or the second one?
The
second one was almost 4 hours.
The second one was phenomenal, where they were talking about the actual facts and the science in the movie. But here's the thing, right? So they have Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie, but they give this perception that he's plant-based 100%, right? But
he never actually says.
But that's
he's vegan
the
or vegetarian or plant-based.
People will see that and they're like,
it's deception.
Arnold, you know what I mean?
They give you just enough to play on your heartstrings or your famous person strings, because I could care less who's famous or what. But some people are really, oh my God, they got Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, well, he's the governor.
Even Nate, when he's in there, right? Like he doesn't even say that he's a vegan. Like you just see him training, but they talk about him having more of a vegan diet.
Do you think Arnold Schwarzenegger could have done what he did in his 20s on plants?
No.
Here's the other thing. The strongman in that movie, they portray him as the strongman in the world. He's not the strongest man in the world, right? But they make you think it. Mm-hmm. They make you think he's in the top 3. I don't know if he's even in the top 10.
I didn't research on him. I just looked at when I was listening to the podcast. They're like, Nate's like 80% plant-based. I'm like, well, you didn't say that in the documentary. You just portrayed him as this 100% plant-based athlete.
This is why, I'm a bit of a purist. I really respect what Vinnie Tortorich did with Peter Pardini, the movie director, and his wife Serena, the famous actress, Bond girl, Serena Scott Thomas. They wanted to bring the truth because she was the producer. So don't fluff. Okay, yeah, you can play a little excitement here and there, but back it up, man. I love documentary movies because I want to see truth. I want to see actual truth and back the truth up with actual legit documented science. The only thing I couldn't stand about those Joe Rogan shows is because he had those two going at it. They're not even the experts, right?
Well, he kept saying it. He kept saying that he wasn't the expert.
So like the first show, what's his name from the Game Changers is ripping on the other dude because he's an acupuncturist. Okay. Well, then I guess you could rip on me then because I have 0 health and fitness degrees or anything else too, even though I've been at this like learning and making mistakes for 20 years. Yeah. And I'm 42, right? So I'll take my advice over any MD any day. I know more about nutrition than pretty much any MD I've seen here where I live. I have no problem. I've said this before on my podcast. Unless that MD specifically throughout his career continues to study nutrition, I already know more than him. And I'm not being crazy. This is, think about it.
Well, a lot of them don't. I mean, a lot of them don't because they don't teach that in medical school.
No. And I've had actual MDs, including a buddy of mine who's an ER doctor, come on live on the show over the years and said, dude, you're lucky if you get an hour on nutrition. They're being taught to diagnose and treat with a drug. Mm-hmm. Sorry. This is why I'm a huge advocate for functional medicine these days. Because, listen, I don't want the drug. The drug's not finding the root cause. You're just going to slap a pharmaceutical on it and Band-Aid the problem. That's why I call them pharmaceutical Band-Aids, right? But I guarantee you try and go down this vegan route, you're going to have some health issues in the next 5 years.
What about carbs? Like what's your philosophy on that? Like spaghetti?
I see that's where I am. I am less like Vinny, right? NSNG, no sugar, no grains, right? So I am minimal carbohydrate, which is the point of ketogenic lifestyles. Ketogenic lifestyles is about minimalizing all these hormonal impacts from all the manufactured food and everything else we're consuming, cutting the sugar out, cutting the grain out. Keto versus carnivore, for example, ketogenic, you're looking at, and again, everybody's biologically different. You have to test, you have to experiment. That's why they have these little blood testers and everything else. If you truly want to be in a ketogenic state, in a state of ketosis, not ketoacidosis, ketoacidosis is the deadly thing. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Everybody confuses those two. Even medical professionals, they don't know. We're talking about getting your body to fuel itself off of ketones, which are naturally produced within the body when you're in a fasted state. So anyway, my point is that it's about being fat adapted, fueling your body from the fat, whether you're ingesting the fat or it's taking it from the body, because I've been in a fasted state all day, other than my fatty caffeine. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, depending if you're in the keto camp versus the carnivore camp, they're going to tell you, well, be careful with the carnivore, right? You have too much meat, too much protein without balancing it with the fat. Your body will actually convert the excess protein into stored fat because it can't process all of it. And that goes the same for plant-based proteins, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And here's the other thing. Your body actually prefers animal-based proteins, are easier to break down, easier to process. I've interviewed the biologists on that too. Again, they don't talk about this stuff in the movie. They keep saying, oh, well, plant-based protein is just as good. No, it's not. It's not biologically the same. I've interviewed the experts. Sorry. So it drives me nuts when people just throw it's surface level and they don't back any of it up. They move on to the next subject. You know? Did you get that? Is that just me ranting?
No. I'm right there with you. The thing that's crazy to me is the more that I look into it, and this isn't like directed at you, but it's like every time I talk to somebody, it seems like it's almost as polarizing.
It is.
As talking about politics. It's like it is
because
crazy.
Veganism is very, and again, I have nothing. Listen, here's the thing. There's two kinds of vegans out there. There's the militaristic ones that are very angry, and I literally just got off the highway. This highway had just been redone the other day on an exit ramp, and I come around, and somebody had taken spray paint and put "Go vegan now!" exclamation point. I'm like, wow. So you're really setting a great example for vegans. Whereas there's other vegans I know that are passionate people, and they care about the animal, and they're doing it for a faith or religious style of purpose. So there's two camps there. There's the extremists, and there's people who just they care. Okay, and I get that, and I respect that. If that's what people want to do, cool. Okay, but don't push it on other people, especially deep down when not healthy. Because there's a lot of cheegans out there, if you haven't heard that term.
Oh, I've never. What is that? I haven't heard.
A cheating vegan.
Oh.
Because after a while, they start experiencing health impacts. Here's the thing. Let's go back full circle here. High level, right? Back to diet, back to lifestyle. I don't care what diet I put you on. In the next couple of weeks, you're going to feel great. Think about that. Because the average person hearing this, who's trying to figure out a better life, like you said, but come January, right? Depending on what you're cutting out of your life, of course you're going to feel better. Yeah, if you jump from eating fast food to going on a juice cleanse for the next week, you're going to feel better because you stopped eating all the processed food. Whether it's a meat cleanse or a juice cleanse or a fruit cleanse or whatever you want to call it, you took a very unhealthy lifestyle and changed it completely for the next 2 weeks. Of course, you're giving your body a break from all the manufactured crap. So here we go. Back to that high level. Veganism, pescatarian, vegan, paleo, carnivore, keto. Dude, stop eating the manufactured food.
Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this diet might work, right? Like, so if you eat your grass-fed meat, right?
Yep.
Stay away from the milk.
Yep.
Butter. I don't know about butter.
Oh man, I live on the butter.
What was that brand that you talked about?
Kerrygold.
Yeah.
It's pasture-raised grass-fed butter from Ireland.
What cheese? I'm going to cut cheese out. But if I could stick to the lean meats, maybe cut out.
Wrong word. Not lean, dude.
No?
Not lean. Wrong word.
Not lean.
Here's the problem. Back to your point. How is the food sourced, right? So I agree with you, and I agree with the vegans and vegetarians about factory farming. Yes, a lot of factory farming is just ripping out animals. They're feeding anything. Dude, there's farms in the Midwest that have been caught feeding old bags of Skittles, like stuff that expired off the store shelves, and they're feeding them candy because that stuff will never get processed completely, get converted to fat, makes the animal fatter and heavier, and will dress out to get them more money. Dressing out meaning weight, will get dressed out as a heavier animal for price $4 for the meat industry. So careful with the lean thing. My tip on that is
grass-fed,
don't want lean. I want fat because, again, ketogenic, you want 70 to 80% in your diet is fat with little protein. And then if you want to get some carbs, they should be vegetable-based, no excessive sugars, low glycemic, right? Low sweetness. You don't need it. Your brain needs, what did I say? I think it's, I forgot, I have to Google it. 2 to 4 grams a day. That's it. That's nothing.
So no spaghetti, no bread.
No. And here's the thing. I just ate that Italian restaurant last night. The guy goes to Italy every single year to study. And he's like, listen, this is not how the Italians live. This is the Americanized Italian, right? He's like, dude, they don't sit down with giant bowls of unlimited pasta and bread like Olive Garden and all these other restaurants do to you. He's like, dude, they use fresh meats and cheeses from local farms. They've got fresh seafood coming in off the water. You know, they're not inhaling bread and pasta.
But it's another thing too, like the farm, what is it? The fish now, they're farmed too, like the salmon.
Yes. That's gotten harder because we're here's the problem. We're over consuming. Well, I mean, they had to start farm raising. And I agree. If you could source wild Atlantic salmon, great. If you could source wild Alaskan, salmon, for example, great. But yes, sometimes you got to sort. Here's the thing: baby steps, right? In the beginning, somebody doesn't have the budget to buy grass-fed beef, wild-caught salmon, fresh organic avocados. So maybe you're not buying the organic, which is a factory badge you pay for. I mean, just start with clean whole foods, right? Because if I'm getting people off of soda, fast food, excess baked goods, sweets, all the manufactured sugars that are, because now they hide it. They like, you don't have extra sugar in the chart. When you look at that chart on your food, look in the paragraph beneath it. It might say 0 grams of sugar or 1 gram of sugar, but I think it's 0.2%. If it's less than 0.2% of the ingredient in that food, they don't have to list it in the grid. They hide it down in the paragraph of ingredients. I learned that too. I had no idea.
I definitely want to look into buying, like, I don't have a freezer, but I would definitely be interested in buying like a cow. You know what I mean? Like if I knew where it came from.
You only need a quarter. Like again, it's a quarter of a steer. This one dressed out heavier than the last one I got. So I think I ended up spending in total about $900. But I knew it was coming, right? Like I set aside the money, you could budget for it. Obviously, once you get over that first year of hurdle or 2 years of hurdle, so you have inventory, then you're not going to the store all the time to buy meat. I had 3 cases of just 1 pound flash vacuum packed ground beef. Dude, I can make chili till the cows come home. Literally. I mean, I got a lot of meat. I got roasts.
That's what you would spend in a year anyway on meat, almost, right? I mean, just like you said, you got to get over that hurdle. What about eggs?
I crush the eggs. I crush the eggs, dude. Crushing it, owning it. I mean, I need to buy stock in an egg farm. My wife thinks I'm crazy. I sit down and I'll eat. I'll crack open 3 whole eggs, and then I'll add like 2 yolks or 3 extra yolks to get the extra fat and the extra healthy cholesterol that I want. That's right. Cholesterol is healthy for you, people. I bet you just blew your mind on that one. If you don't consume cholesterol, did you know your body makes it?
I did not know that.
Yeah, because it's required at the cellular level. But you got 40, 50 years of incorrect health education around heart disease, diabetes. Again, go watch Fat, a documentary. It'll blow your mind. But yeah, see, cholesterol gets a bad name.
Hold on. It's free on Amazon Prime, right?
Heck yeah, dude. That's how good it's doing. Amazon's like, oh my God, look at these statistics. Let's throw it in for free on Amazon Prime. Boom.
There you go.
Watch it on the holiday, guys, because here's the thing. Game Changers has the director from Titanic, the movie. Who do you think paid for that? FYI, he's currently practicing plant-based vegan. Half the people in it, like, dude, that was a high-budget film. We barely were able to make this movie, dude. We crowdfunded it on Indiegogo just through fans and loyal listeners of his podcast show.
How long did it take to get the financing for that?
We crowdfunded it in 2 months. He from crowdfunding to finish, he made this movie in less than a year. It's never been done. That's how passionate he's like. He was not, I mean, and Vinny had to throw his own money into this. Like, it wasn't just, I mean, trying to make a whole documentary move for $250,000, like an average documentary film was like $500,000. We did all the research. It's crazy. But here's the best part. This movie was made by the people for the people. Think about that. There's no big grain companies paying for this. He got donation offers from beef influencers, everything. He's like, no, I can't do it. I want to make sure that no one can ever come after this movie and say it was influenced by different companies and organizations. This was crowdfunded, and then he paid his own money out of his own pocket to cover the rest of the bill. That's it.
How'd you get linked up with him?
Oh, God. I know each other from the podcast world.
Yeah?
Yeah. So here's the best part. When I heard he was going to make the movie, I'd already supported and helped run some other Kickstarters, so I already had experience in crowdfunding. So I sent him an email just with a bunch of tips. I'm like, hey, Vinny, it's been a while. Thanks again for coming on my show. He's got a very successful show, Fitness Confidential. He guest stars on Adam Carolla. Adam Carolla has the Guinness record of podcasting. It's crazy. So So he calls it, he gets the Corolla bump whenever he's on, because he's on Adam's show every month. And then whenever I bring Vinny on, I call it the Vinny bump, because then his listeners find out about me and they come listen to my show. So it's a nice little cross pollination.
I like his little Oprah thing. That was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
That was awesome, man.
Yeah. But that's how I literally sent him tips. I said, hey, Vinny, I really want to hope this succeeds. I got your back. Here's some, I dug into all the other crowdfunding platforms, did a bunch of research on how to successfully run a campaign specifically to Indiegogo, and I sent him and Serena the tips. And then he reached out to me. He's like, dude, he's like, my marketing person just quit. He's like, your questions have helped us so much. He's like, can I hire you? Do you want to make some money? I need you to run my marketing and the social media because I don't have a clue about this stuff. So I jumped in. That's how we started doing business.
2 months. 2 months.
2 months of fundraising, pretty much 2 to 3. I mean, it was open longer, but I mean, we ripped the lid off for like a good 60 to 90 days. And then as soon as they had enough money, he started hiring the film crew and getting everything in motion.
So my question to you is like, so because you have skin in the game, that documentary is, I
donated to it.
Yeah. Pull your emotions out of that. Like, but is that your diet though? Right? Like, is that your philosophy on how to eat, lifestyle?
Yeah. Here's the best part. I never called it anything. I was already over the years cutting down sugar, cutting down grains, testing out, becoming that more fat adapted. I've been doing cleansing and fasting since 2010 through what I learned from that Isogenics company, which is a network marketing company. So, I mean, I don't hide anything. Like, dude, that's manufactured shakes and there's sugar and there's supplements and everything else. But I never knew what fasting was, or, detoxing the body and giving it a rest. I actually started learning about it back then through that, using their cleansing program. Then years later, I've learned that, intermittent fasting is actually very healthy for you, and learning about the ketogenic lifestyle and everything else. So yeah, when I heard he was going to make a movie about it, I'm like, oh, this is cool. That's why I was like, hey, here's some tips.
What's the longest that you've fasted for?
I've never exceeded 48 hours. Only because I learned that from Isogenics. Their board of doctors said, listen, and there's people who do longer fasts than that, but they said you really don't need more than that. So I do 48-hour fasts, supported fasts, with your vitamins and minerals and everything else. I'm not eating fats. I'm not eating my meats, nothing. Like, it's fasted. I'll do 48-hour fasts 4 times a year, minimum once a quarter. It's part of my regular lifestyle. It's been going on for years. So
what do you feel like in the last end of that 48?
Well, I've been doing it for so long, I'm used to it. So
yeah. But the first time you did it, do you remember?
I was like, oh, dude, I was eating bananas and stuff back then. That's a high glycemic fruit, by the way. Don't eat that. You think that it's very high glycemic. But yeah, you go through sugar withdrawals. I had headaches. Some people nowadays, they call it the keto flu when you start trying out a ketogenic lifestyle, because your brain is going through the sugar withdrawals. You don't realize how addicting. There's studies that have shown mice that they already got mice addicted to cocaine. They take the mouse off of cocaine and give it sugar. It wants nothing to do with the cocaine anymore.
What?
Yeah, dude.
What?
Yeah, right? Think about the addiction level of sugar. It's hitting different receptors, dude. We have no idea. That's the hardest thing. If I had to sum up anybody who's going to start doing this research, okay, maybe I want to try like a half-day fast. Like Joe Rogan, myself, other big guys who've learned all this stuff. Like, dude, I only eat like twice a day. But today I haven't been hungry. I had a nice fatty coffee. I'm going to go out to a really nice dinner tonight with some friends.
What are you getting?
Oh, I'm getting steak.
Oh
yeah, dude. I just had seafood last night. So, and then tonight I'm going to I'm going to open up the crock pot. Because tomorrow I'm hosting another one of my ski tuning parties, out in the big garage. So I'm going to slow cook. I'm going to make some chili, throw it in the crock pot, make sure everybody gets to enjoy my meat.
I love seafood though. It's like every time you turn around, it's like you got to look out for the farm raised cattle. You got to look out for
what? Here's the deal, dude. All right, let's go back to that old common saying of everything in moderation. Yeah. I agree with that, except for sugars and grains. But okay, I don't eat that much seafood all the time. But it's nice to mix it in once in a while, because if you have too much seafood, you got to be careful with the heavy metal contents, right?
The mercury.
Right. So it's like, okay, I'm not hitting it all the time. But the source of healthy fats from fish, and that's why I left the skin on the salmon in that photo yesterday. That's where all the good healthy fats are. All the oils, the healthy oils, those are very good for you. People don't realize that the carcinogenic properties of trying to cook in vegetable oil. You go down a traditional grocery store aisle. What are they still promoting and touting as your cooking oil? It's corn oil and vegetable oil. Guess what? Remember how a couple years ago they said all of a sudden they're worried about trans fats and fast food? Again, if you study history and you go far enough back, when they first started frying, they were using ghee, aka animal fats, because animal fats can handle higher cooking temperatures. Corn oil and vegetable oil, they literally, because I've interviewed the scientists, they said you will literally change its molecular structure from the heat, and it becomes a more carcinogenic property. They are not designed to handle high heat. The best things you can cook with, coconut oil, which is a medium chain triglyceride, MCTs. Oh, I'm taking MCT supplements. Just go eat some coconut oil. So anyway, coconut oil, olive oil, ghee, and grass-fed butter. Those are the 4 things that I cook with.
I was actually taking like shots of olive oil every day.
I've done it.
I love it.
I learned about that from Vinny. I get my olive oil straight from Italy. I use Villa Capelli just like he does. They gave me my own discount code for my fans. You can just use fuel next time if you want legit olive oil, dude. Oh,
yeah,
you're gonna be addicted. I'm just telling you right now, it's so good.
I know you're
that peppery finish.
I know you're getting ready to go to dinner, and you're short on time.
I know you're making me hungry.
What is like a typical day for you as far as food? Like, give the listeners something like a guideline.
I don't always fast every morning. Like a Monday and Friday, I work from home. I try and keep my travels Tuesday through Thursday. So Mondays and Fridays, I'll enjoy my breakfast. I'll actually have like eggs and bacon, and I'll do, like I said, I'll do like 3 whole eggs, add in 2 yolks, and then throw like 4 sticks of bacon. Everything is cooked in butter. And like that's a standard breakfast or lunch, depending on when I get around to doing it. Because here's the best part, dude. Once you've cut the sugars and grains out of your life, you don't have all the highs. All of a sudden, your energy levels smooth out. And fat burns longer because it's actually a preferred fuel of the body. That's why healthy fats are good for you. So that might be my breakfast or lunch. If I haven't done that, then I do my fatty coffee. And then I'm good all day because I have those fats burning. I'll work out. I'll work out fasted, or I'll work out after that, whatever. And then I'll have a nice dinner. And it could be a big slab of steak. Oh, my new hack. Here you go. I'll take the 1 pound packs of ground beef, the vacuum pack packs. I'll defrost it. I just cut the pack open, take the whole block, throw it right in my cast iron skillet, which is already hot. I've got the ghee in there or olive oil, whatever flavor I'm going with that night. And I just sear that sucker. And then I flip the whole 1 pound block over, sear the other side, and I'll eat the whole damn thing.
Do you do most of the cooking?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
My wife loves salads. FYI, people think I'm crazy.
What is she? Is she?
Oh, she loves her bread. She loves her salads.
Are you just looking at it the entire time, being like, I can't believe?
Listen, it is not my job or my purpose as a husband to tell my wife what to do. And I just got married this year, and I'm trying to pick up on this stuff as quick as possible.
You're a veteran at this, man. Like
I'm trying. Because I waited so long. I've watched everybody else make all the mistakes. So
that is awesome, dude. I don't tell my wife what to do. You're a smart man. No. You are a smart man. I wouldn't either.
Because I'm learning from guys like you. You've been doing it longer. You might be younger than me, but you've already been in the trenches longer.
Yes, I got my battle wounds for sure.
But here's the best part. Joking aside, through her relationship with me, I have noticed her doing more things that I do, right? We don't actually have bread in the house, but once in a while she'll go out and buy some wraps. I've never seen her buy a loaf of bread. It's not like she's eating a ton of bread, but when we go out to dinner, she'll have, a dinner roll or whatever. I don't tell her. She likes crostinis. I'm not going to tell her how to live. Yeah. But she also a couple times a year goes through her own fasts, does the same protocol that I do. Yeah. I didn't ask her to do that. But it's a great reboot, dude.
Yeah.
Well, because it gives all those organs a day off.
Yes. It reboots your system. I mean, it definitely helps you out. Definitely in the fight of cancer, too. Like, resets everything inside of you.
Think about it, dude. You go to the gym 2-3 days straight. You schedule a rest day, right?
Yeah.
When does all the organs involved in our digestion, when do they get a rest day?
When we fast.
But if you've never fasted, to be fair, do you know when you're fasting? When you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So technically, everybody does fast. What we're looking to do is extend the fasted state.
Yeah, I'll just eat an early dinner, and then I'll just fast, and I'll go to sleep, wake up early, do my routine, my morning routine, my run, and all that, and then I will. I'll try to hold out as long as I can, at least till usually around 11. I start getting really hungry, and then right on. I usually eat my lunch around 12 or something like that, but that's a long time.
There you
And
go.
you know what I mean? It feels good, but
yeah, that's the point.
Yeah,
it should feel good.
It feels great. It feels great.
And here's the big: if I take all the stuff that we talked about tonight, the whole master plan here is getting healthy, right? Finding a healthier lifestyle, something sustainable. Back to my key word, right? Lifestyle, not diet. It's a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take time. But it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah. Lastly, though, but they've been doing studies. Cancer. What grows cancer is the glucose, right? What's glucose is sugar.
Yeah. I've talked to people about that too. They're still trying to get even more and more studies to reinforce this. But think about it. You go back 50 years, just 50, 50. Think about how much sugar we actually had in our lifestyle back then. Look at the level of manufactured foods, preserved foods we have today on the shelves in a grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
When my dad brought me up, it was eggs and bacon every day. My dad's now type 2 diabetic. He's overweight. He's on diabetes drugs. He was just in the hospital for some kind of inflammation in his leg a few months ago. Like, I love him, but and then sure enough, the other day, I'm like, hey, Dad, what are you and Mom doing at 5 o'clock in the morning for breakfast? Well, classic excuse, well, we're busy. It's early in the morning. I'm like, okay, what are you eating? He's like, well, cereal.
Yeah.
You're a type 2 diabetic, sir. I was like, I'm literally living the life my dad taught me on the farm. Yeah. I told him that. I'm like, Dad, just go back to what you taught me as a kid. And you could get rid of your diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is reversible and can be cured.
Mm-hmm.
People don't think so. Can be. It's been done.
It's been done. Scott, dude, this has been fantastic.
I could have warned you, man. You get me fired up today.
Dude, I just wish we had longer. This is you are the first return guest on my show.
I know. Thank you, man. This is fun. And I've been looking forward to hang out with you anyway. That's why tonight I was like, oh crap, is he coming on my show? Or am I coming on his show? That's why we should just dual publish. Yeah.
Let's dual publish.
Dual publish.
I mean, it's been a year since we hung out. Did the show.
It's been over a year.
Yeah. And I mean, every time we get fired up about things, and if you guys haven't heard the podcasts, go back and listen to those. They were phenomenal. I think you might have been the first show that I went and co-hosted with, or was a guest.
Yeah, we did talk about that because you've never heard the format of a guest co-host format instead of an interview.
Yep.
Yeah. And you were episode 231, Inspiring Your Superior Self, Baltimore and the Blue Collar Life. And that was aired on November 19th, 2018.
I can't remember the title of mine, but mine was definitely on December 3rd of last year that you came on.
I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's a good while, though. That's cool.
That is cool. We should do this every year. Every December, have something.
Or more often. I don't care. I mean, dude, I like rocking the mic with you. I mean, shout out to Mary Shores. She got us connected.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever get a hold of Devin Thorpe? Did you ever?
There's a lot of guys who get into the roster and then scheduling conflicts happen, and then sometimes they get rebooked or not. Devin, I don't think I ever recorded. Was that DEVON or DEVIN?
DEVIN.
Short, like SHORT?
Thorpe.
Oh, Thorpe.
THORPE.
Let me look. I guess I have everything stored in my project management system here. Nope, he's not. He's never actually booked. So, because thank God
you should get with him. Yeah, he was actually. His show on YouTube, he actually had Bill Gates come on. He's a good dude.
Whoa.
Yeah. And his blog, one of his blog posts was published in the Bill Gates documentary.
Yeah. He's an author, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Actually his website is his name, Devin Thorpe. There we go.
Yep. He's a good dude, man. He's a great dude. He's all about, helping the world as best as he can. And
here we go. He's champion of social good.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's got a book. I think I got it right here.
He's got a lot of books, actually.
Book on there. His latest one.
Yeah. I just Googled him and there was like a lot of books that popped up.
He's a good dude. You should definitely.
Yeah. Your Mark on the World. Crowdfunding for social good is another one. 925 ideas. Adding profit by adding purpose. Oh, he and I definitely need to talk because these are just the ones from 2012 to 2016.
Yeah.
But everything is aligned with purpose.
Yeah, he just got back from a mission, I think, not too long ago, and he just did an article for, I think it was, I don't know, some big news publisher.
Yeah.
But
definitely, I'll reach out to him. I mean, unless you want to do the whole interconnection, if you have this contact information, because that's obviously that's why I started Fuel Foundations this year. You know, Live the Fuel. I mean, it's all about fueling more purpose into everything we do.
Yeah, so, I'll make the intro for sure.
I like him.
He's probably watching this right now. Devin Thorpe.
Shout out to Devin.
Shout out to Devin, dude.
Yeah,
good dude. Well, Scott, go get your steak.
Yeah, and, man.
You know, thank you, brother, for the opportunity for you know, being able to collab like this, and it's always a joy.
I'll do it anytime, man. Yeah, there's not many. There's an inner circle of podcasters trust. You're definitely in it. So I'm happy to give back to your audience, and I'm happy to have you actually give back to my audience. So
absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. Actually, and since I am going to dual publish this one to my listeners, make sure you're checking out Your Superior Self. And actually, you know what? Here, because we are doing a live stream and it goes on YouTube. There's that dapper man. Yes, yoursuperiorself.com, people. As a well-dressed man right there.
Thank you. Oh, and by the way, so like last time we talked, right? Like you had asked if those were dumbbells.
The antique dumbbells, right?
That's actually like a thread thing for like
yeah,
tailors and stuff like that.
Spools. So, they were spools. Yeah. They were wooden spools.
Yeah. I'm digging it. Yeah. It was who told me that? I can't remember. But I was like, yeah, I thought they were the same thing. I was like, why do they have dumbbells in this shoot? I'm like, you know, whatever. And then they're like, no, that's for the tailor.
I didn't look closer until just now. And now I get it. I'm like, yeah, I can totally see it. They're handmade wooden spindles or spools that you would, they probably had yarn on them or something. Yeah. Antiques, man. They're cool like that. Different generation. Yeah. And actually, if I could sum up anything about a documentary, it goes back 150 years of history and research, because it's important to help people see where we came from and some of the mistakes we made along the way and why we are where we are today. That's one of the biggest points of that movie. He's like, dude, I just want people to remember where we screwed up, because if we can catch and learn from our mistakes, we can change the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My man, thank you for hanging out, dude.
It's been awesome. I'm glad we got a chance to plug this in. I'll be honored to publish this to my audience as well. And because Your Superior Self rocks. I still listen. I'm still subscribed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got you.
I only keep 6 podcasts booked in my queue. So.
Oh man.
You're in the top 6.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. I hear the kids screaming.
That's right. See, I don't have that problem.
Yeah. I'm like, just give me a couple more seconds. I just hear them fighting back there. And I'm like,
all right, brother. So, well, I mean, how do you want to close it out?
Here's the thing, right? So I ask everybody at the end of the thing, at the interview, you know, what's your legacy? I think I know what your legacy is, but remind us, like, what do you want your legacy to be?
Honestly, the legacy is always changing. I never planned on launching Fuel Foundations, my legit 501c3 with the IRS nonprofit. I now have my own nonprofit corporation. It's pretty badass. So I don't know where it's going to take me. I already have, 2 projects giving back to fallen firefighters, obviously the mountain biking, the local park, but who knows where that's going to go. So, I mean, part of that legacy is, and the podcasting has taken me to this point, is that I never thought about legacy before. Now I do. Mm-hmm. What is the message? What is the footprint that we're leaving behind on this planet? And that's why, I give shout outs to, like we said earlier, the vegans and the vegetarians and everybody else who care about what they're trying to do. It's just do it with some more intelligent, do the research, right? Don't fluff things. Do the research, share stuff, okay? Because the passion's there. I just can't stand misdirection. Let's do things truthfully. Let's do things accurately. And let's make sure it's something that you're going to be proud of 5, 10, 50 years down the road. That's legacy. So, and then like the shout out to Devin here, make sure we're doing it with purpose.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely. Scott Mulvaney, host of Live Fuel Podcast, Trey Downs, Your Superior Self, collaborating for 2019. I love
Closing it out, man.
Make sure to subscribe, leave us a rating and a review. Check us out on all social media. Scott is tearing it up on social media, by the way. Check out his nonprofit. He's doing great things for all the, I don't know what you call them, bike riders. Is that the correct
mountain bikers?
Mountain bikers.
I mean, well, dog walkers and hikers use the trails too, so everybody benefits.
There you go. I don't have enough time to go out there. The kids are, my daughter will turn 12 months. Yeah, 12 months. I hate when people say that. She'll be a year old this month, to the 27th. So it's like, she is all over
Al Papa.
Yeah, buddy. 3 kids, man. I'm telling you.
Again, I live vicariously through my friends that have kids. They live vicariously through me and my freedoms, so I can do all this extra stuff that
So
I'm trying to do.
If I was going out tonight, I would definitely have a couple beers. Just telling you.
See, and I don't do that anymore. It's been years.
Really?
So that's grains, dude. Liquid grains.
So what do you do to,
I drink distilled grains, scotches and bourbons. Oh. So I'm actually not kidding you. The drinking beer is totally inflammatory. That's why you see another increase in obesity. Why do you think a lot of heavy beer drinkers look like they're pregnant? Dude, if you drink it distilled, alcohol is still a toxin. But thanks to the distillation process that is used to create and turn grains into alcohol, it removes all the impurities.
Yeah.
So you're basically drinking a sterile poison, if that makes sense, because it's how the body looks at it anyway. So I'm a big scotch and bourbon guy these days. So
we'll go have scotch for me. Actually, have some bourbon.
Yeah, there you go. Change it up a little bit tonight.
Yeah. All right, brother. Well, I appreciate it. Have a great evening, and I want to say thanks.
You as well, sir. And again, to my Live the Fuel fans, make sure you check them out. Your Superior Shelf. We're going to shut this recording down. Happy holidays, everyone.
All right, brother.
Later.